The next most important section, section 9, levy and collection of tax. So we already discussed that for every tax law there will be a taxable event, right? And there will be a charging section. Section 4 of the Income Tax Act says the income of the previous year shall be chargeable to tax in the relevant assessment year at the rates applicable thereto. It is the charging section for the whole act. Then section 15, charging section for salaries. 22, house property. 28, income from business or profession. Like that, so on. Correct? Now we are also tax law. Correct? So far we have not read charging section. We said section 7, supply. Supply of goods. What is supply? That's all. Have we anywhere read it should be taxed like that? No. Section 8 we discussed composites. What is composite supply? Okay. But there should be a charging section, that is this section 9. Subject to the provisions of subsection 2. Subject to the provisions of subsection 2. That means subsection 2 prevails over subsection 1. Between these two, subsection 2 is supreme. I am here subsection 1, but I am subject to subsection 2. Okay. Now, the subject to the provisions of subsection 2, there shall be levied a tax. That's called charge. There shall be levied a tax called the Central Goods and Service Tax. The tax is to be called the Central Goods and Service Tax on all intrastate supplies of goods or services. See, every word is important. Here it says only intrastate supply of goods, because we already discussed in the first class basic concepts. Intrastates only will apply SGST, CGST. Interstate, IGST. Imports, IGST. Exports, IGST. SEZ supplies, IGST. So CGST Act is applicable on intrastate supplies. Okay. So there shall be levied a tax called the Central Goods and Service Tax on all intrastate supply of goods or services or both, except on the supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Again we discussed. This is outside the scope of the GST. It's a non-GST supply. It is the state matter. On that, state excise duty will continue. VAT will continue. Any other tax earlier laws will continue. So charging section does not cover point number 1, alcohol liquor for human consumption, and subject to subsection 2. Okay, fine. On value determined under section 15, here is talking about what? Valuation. First he said there shall be levied a tax. The tax is to be called central tax 2, and then it doesn't include alcoholic liquor for human consumption, and then it says valuation, because we should have a value, no, on which you can apply the rate of tax. Correct? Okay. What is the value? You have to go through section 15 at such rates. This is an act, no? It will say such rates. Then you will go to GST tariff. Then there will be category wise, there is a tariff, 5% one tariff, 12% one tariff, 18% one tariff, 28% one tariff. Okay. Okay, fine. Not exceeding 20%. This is central tax 20%. You add state tax 20%. Maximum rate is how much? 40%. But so far we have only 28%. They have kept a cushion. Otherwise, again, it should go to the parliament. They have to amend it and then increase the rates above 28. So they said not exceeding 20%. That means 40%. The rates I am talking about 5, 12, 18, 28 are put together. SGST plus CGST. When I say 28, 14, 14. When I say 18, 9, 9. Okay. Not exceeding 20%, as may be notified by the government on the recommendation of the council, GST council, and collected in such a manner as may be prescribed, you will go to rules. In the rules, it will tell you how to deposit the tax, by what time you have to pay the tax, what are the returns to be filed. All these things will be prescribed and shall be paid by the taxable person. That is subsection 1. Let us spend some time on it. The first it says levy, tax, CGST, intrastate supply, goods or service, alcoholic liquor for human consumption, no. Valuation shall be done under section 15. Rates not exceeding 20 will be prescribed by the government. Shall be paid by whom? By a taxable person. By whom? So we should know who is taxable person, right? Okay, click on that. Taxable person means who is registered or liable to be registered under section 22 or 24. See, GST law, it will be like this. If your aggregate turnover, we'll come to that later, for the timing understand as turnover. If your aggregate turnover in a financial year exceeds rupees 20 lakh, and it is 10 lakh for northeastern states. Okay, so if your aggregate turnover in a financial year exceeds rupees 20 lakhs, you are liable to be registered under section 24. As per section 24, you are liable. You are, why I am stressing, you are liable to be registered. Once you are liable to be registered, you become taxable person. See, that is how you read it. See, once you learn the reading, you need not require any teacher. You can read on your own. So once you are liable to be registered, even if you are not actually registered, you will be a taxable person, says section 2107. So to be a taxable person, you need not be actually registered. It is enough if you are liable to be registered. The moment you cross 20 lakhs, you become a taxable person. Sir, I am not registered. How can I be taxable person? Section says, not me. Now you are a taxable person. Now it is your liability. Come, register and pay. Even otherwise, I will treat you as a taxable person. And all the provisions, other provisions, as applicable to a taxable person, are equally applicable to you also, even if you are not actually registered. Take the other case. A person who is registered, 22. 22 gives a facility of voluntary registration. You are not liable. You are not actually liable. Your turnover is only 5 lakhs. But I wanted to be registered. I registered voluntarily. Now you cannot say, sir, my turnover is below 20 lakhs, I don't pay. I will wait up to 20 lakhs, nothing doing. Once you are registered, you will become. See, this is a complete reading of the line. So much is there in that one line. You understand? Let us recapitulate. Taxable person means a person who is registered. Whether you are compulsorily registered or voluntarily registered, are you registered? You are a taxable person. From the next day onwards, you have to pay GST. Sir, I am below 20 lakhs, nothing doing. Pay GST because you are registered. Then, who is liable to be registered? Here, he is not required to be registered, but registered. Welcome, wonderful. We love you so much. Here, you are liable to be registered, but you are not registering. You crossed 20 lakhs, but still you are not registering. It's okay. You are still a taxable person. I can send the notice and ask you to pay the tax. Okay. Now come back into Kotisaka. Oh, that is what we read so far. Next, we will go to subsection 2. Subsection 1 is subject to subsection 2. That means something is there in the store in subsection 2 which talks contrary to subsection 1. That is why they cautioned there itself, sir, I am there, but I am subject to subsection 2. What it says? Subsection 2. The central tax on supply of petroleum crude, high-speed diesel oil, motor spirit commonly known as petrol, natural gas, aviation turbine fuel shall be levied with effect from such date as may be notified by the government on the recommendations of the council. That means these 5 goods, petroleum crude, that is crude oil, HSD, diesel, motor spirit, petrol, natural gas and ATF, they are also outside the scope of GST. They continue to suffer excise duty and VAT. So even though there are intrastate supplies, subsection 1 is not applicable. Why? Subsection 2 says the otherwise. No, wait. They shall be levied from a date to be notified by the government. Wait, because these are major revenue sources. States doesn't want to give up so early. Okay, so they are waiting. It takes some more time to all these things to come into the GST net. So for the time being, alcoholic liquor for human consumption plus these 5 products are outside the scope of GST levy. They will continue to suffer excise duty and VAT. Over? Okay, next we will go to subsection 3. Next. Here comes the concept called reverse charge mechanism. You all know reverse charge mechanism? Generally, charge in indirect taxes, in the first class we discussed why it is called indirect taxes. I am the seller, you are the buyer. The tax burden will be on the buyer who consumes it. I am the seller, but law says it is your liability, seller, to collect the tax and pay to the government. Correct? In income tax, I am the sufferer, my pocket is burdening, and I am also the person who is liable to pay tax. Direct tax. Directly, I am related to the department. But here it is not like that. Burden is yours, liability is mine. Whether or not you pay, I have to pay. But I have a right to collect from you. So I will sell 100 rupees pen plus 18 rupees GST. I will collect it. I will retain my 100 and deposit this 18 rupees with the government. This is called forward charge. Forward charge or regular charge. This is what to happen in any indirect tax law. It is the seller who is liable to pay the tax. It is the service provider who is liable to pay the tax. But now roles reverse. Now roles reverse. Now it is a reverse charge. I will not pay. I am not the person who is liable to pay tax. Reverse. You are the person who is liable to pay. You are the person who is suffering the tax and you also the person who is liable to pay tax. This is direct tax in indirect tax. Correct? This is direct tax in indirect tax. నమస్కారం, నువ్వు తీసుకున్న సర్వీస్ నువ్వే పే చేయి, నాకు సంబంధం లేదు. ఓకే, నౌ ఫర్ దట్ దిస్ ఈస్ ద ఛార్జింగ్ సెక్షన్ ఫర్ రివర్స్ ఛార్జ్. ఓకే, because they have to tell this specifically, otherwise by default it is a forward charge. If you want to fix him, okay, you need to tell that specifically. Now what it says, the government may, it is not necessary that everything should be covered, on the recommendation of the council by notification. In the first class, if you go through, we discussed what is notification, what is a circular, correct? So why I discussed Now you have to understand. By notification, mein sir told. Notification means any changes in the law, it will be notified through a notification. By notification, specify, they will mention what? The categories of supply of goods or services are both. In the notification, they'll tell these are the goods 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the services 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, they may specify in the notification the goods or services, the tax on which shall be paid on reverse charge basis. The tax thereon shall be paid by under reverse charge basis. By the recipient. Reverse charge basis by the recipient of goods, recipient of services, buyer, service receiver. You have to pay, not me. Okay? By the recipient of such goods or services or both, and all the provisions of this act, shall be applicable to such recipient as if he is the person liable for paying the tax in respect of such supply of goods or services. Now all the provisions wherever taxable person, he said no, shall be paid by taxable person, subsection 1, come down. Now who will be the taxable person in 3? Recipient. Got the point? So under reverse charge mechanism, this is popularly called as reverse charge mechanism. For example, there is a notification number called 13/2017 CTR dated 28/6/2017. Okay. In that notification, they have prescribed a list of services: goods transport agency, advocate services, arbitral tribunal, sponsorship services, security services, government services. There is a list. So if a particular service is covered there and I am providing that service to him, I will not be liable to pay tax. For example, I am a chartered accountant. I am also an arbitral tribunal. We do arbitration. Now I have two roles. As a chartered accountant, I am providing a service. As an arbitration tribunal also, I am providing services to our clients. Chartered accountant service is forward charge. I will collect that, I have to collect, we are registered. I have to collect the tax and pay to the government. But arbitral tribunal services that I am providing, on which I am not liable to pay tax, my client is liable to pay tax. I will simply send the bill, he has to pay tax to the government. Understand? What is reverse charge mechanism? So under reverse, goods also, certain goods are prescribed. Raw cotton purchased from agriculturist, tendu leaves, tobacco leaves, silk yarn, and certain types of oils which are procured from some people. You are the person, the recipient, the buyer is liable to pay tax. Sir, why? Why? What is this concept? Strange. Why means there will be certain unorganized sectors in any business, unorganized, like transportation, goods transportation, lorry operators. Can you expect them to register with the GST department, file the return and pay the taxes, a lorry driver? You can't, no? Can you catch hold of them? They will be traveling across the country. They will be providing transportation services on all the 30 states. Can you expect them to comply with the law? I don't want him to do that. If it is there, I will lose the revenue. You understand? Because I can't catch hold of them. He is an unorganized person. He belongs to an unorganized sector. But you are a registered person. You are organized. You are in my sight. I can catch hold of you. You pay the tax. He is providing the service, lorry driver. It's difficult for me. But I can catch you as a company, as a firm, as a registered person. You pay the tax. Is it easier or not? That is why reverse charge. In income tax, that is direct tax law, there is an indirect tax. Tax deduction at source. TDS. What is happening there? Income belongs to you. I am paying the tax as an employer. The tax I am deducting and paying to the government. Whose tax is that? Is it mine? No. Your tax. Your tax I am liable to collect and pay to the department. What is this called? Indirect tax. In direct tax, indirect tax. So we will adopt for the necessity, out of necessity. So similarly in indirect tax, now there is a direct tax mechanism. Because it is difficult for me to ascertain, find out the lorry person, ask him to pay the tax. Leave it. Okay. So that is why how reverse charge mechanism has come into picture. Got the point? Next, go. Subsection 4. The government on the recommendations of the council by notification specify a class of registered persons. They will specify whom? Not everybody. Registered persons. They may specify, boss, this class of registered persons, maybe registered person with more than 10 crore turnover, registered person with more than 100 crore turnover, like that, a class. Then this is a separate class. Who shall, in respect of supply of specified categories of goods, specified categories of services. Here the notification will specify two things. One, who is the registered person covered under this notification? And what are the goods, what are the services covered under the notification? They will prescribe both. If there is registered person with more than 5 crore supplying this goods or procuring this service, service received from an unregistered supplier. You are buying from whom? Unregistered supplier. Pay the tax on reverse charge basis as the recipient of such supply of goods or services are both, and all the provisions of this act shall apply to such recipient as if he is the person liable for paying the tax in relation to such supply of goods or services. See, when the law is introduced, this language is missing. Specify a class of registered person and specify categories of goods and services. Every registered person, if he is purchasing any goods or service from any unregistered person, they are liable to pay tax. It was there when in 2017 it was introduced. I think from October 12th or 15th 2017 it is discontinued. It is becoming difficult. For example, if I am a gold shop and a household lady comes and sells gold, her jewelry, and sells old gold to me. Now what is happening? I am a registered person. You are? Pay tax. I will give one more example. I am a showroom, a small cloth showroom. I am registered. I have no in-house pantry, no kitchen. Now there is a buddy shop, tea wala. Now I buy tea from them, samosa from them, biscuit from them. I am registered. Tea shop fellow, pay tax on it. You can eat samosa from him, but you pay tax and eat. This is the complication. Now so many transactions will happen like this, correct? So many. So it has become difficult for the dealers to follow that, the then subsection 4. It is amended subsection 4. Now they said, no, let us wait. I will tell what category of registered person. It is not everyone. Okay. And I will also tell what are the goods and services. Even if you buy tea also, you pay registered. Reverse charge means it's very difficult. 10 times I will bring the tea from the shop. Now 10 entries I have to pass, 10 journal entries. For that one accountant will not be sufficient in this way. I need 2-3 accountants, one team of accountants. Now I don't know to what extent they know the law. I want a consultant. Compliance burden is increasing. So wait, I will specify not every registered person. Let us catch big people who already have a team, correct? So I will specify, okay, this, if you are this kind of registered person and you are buying these goods, you are buying these services, pay registered. If other party is unregistered. Now what is the difference between subsection 3 and 4? Go up. Specify the categories of supply of goods or services. That's all. It will not specify other things. It may be applicable to any person. The other party, the service provider, can be either registered or unregistered. Are you getting my point? See, in my previous example, in my own case, I am a registered person. But I am providing arbitration tribunal services to you. You are also a registered person. I am also a registered person. But you have to pay the tax. Clear? That is the scope of 3. But in subsection 4, the term called you are always unregistered person. In subsection 3, you may be either registered, but in subsection 4, you are always. That is the difference between subsection 3 RCM and subsection 4 RCM. Clear, na? Okay. We'll go to next subsection. 5. The government may, on the recommendations of the council, same language, by notification, specify the categories of what? Services only. Here, their goods or services. Here, be very careful while reading a section. It is an act. There will not be a single word without a meaning, without a purpose. Okay? So, its coverage is restricted to so specify the category of services 1, 2, 3, 4. The tax on intrastate supplies of which shall be paid by the electronic commerce operator. Why is this electronic commerce operator? Click it. Click electronic commerce operator. Means any person who owns, who operates, who manages digital or electronic facility or platform for electronic commerce. That means selling the goods or services through electronic platform, your Amazon, your Flipkart, the SEO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are called electronic commerce. Commerce, buying and selling. Electronic commerce, you are buying and selling through using digital technology, using internet, and you are operating it. You are called electronic commerce operator. Understand? We can go back? Go back. Sorry. And now what he is saying? Come back. By notification specify categories of services, the tax on intrastate supplies of which shall be paid by whom? If services are supplied through it. If such services are supplied through it, and all the provisions of this act shall apply to such electronic commerce operator as if he is the person who is liable to pay tax. Actually, he is not the person liable to pay. Sir, what is this concept? What are the services which are prescribed here? We'll just see. Tomorrow we'll again discuss. We'll just give a glimpse. By notification. 17, Yes, 17, bar 17. For example, transportation of passengers by a taxi, accommodation in hotels. Come back. See, nowadays what is happening? Now you are going to Kulu Manali, summer started. Okay? Now you want to book rooms. How you will book? How you are booking nowadays? First you are going, First you are going to Manali, book the room and come back. Now you will go to make my trip, ease my trip, so and so trip, XYZ trip, and you will book it. Correct? Correct? Huh? But see, the actual service is provided by a hotel, accommodation service. He is merely aggregating you both. He is bringing you both. Correct? Huh? That's all. That's what he is doing. He is bringing the seller, buyer to a platform. It will tell the seller, here is a buyer. It will tell the buyer, here is the seller. That is why they are called aggregators. Correct? But I don't know whether that hotel will pay tax or not, government. It's a small fellow. He's an unregistered fellow. That hotel is, let us say, unregistered. But still they are providing service. I want revenue from there also. I want revenue from the people who are below 20 lakhs also. This is one mechanism to increase the revenue. Okay. Is actually below 20 lakhs fellow, but on this transaction, electronic commerce operator has to collect GST from me and pay to the department. This is a third category. Neither reverse charge nor forward charge. Is it reverse charge? No. Reverse charge means what? Service receiver I have to pay. Forward charge means service provider hotel has to pay. Now this is a third charge. We have to put one name. Maybe cross charge, something like that. See? Forward charge we have seen. Reverse charge we have seen. Now this is a third category where neither the service receiver pay nor the service provider pay. Some third party will pay. Who is the third party? Electronic commerce operator. That make my trip. I'll give one more example. You catch Ola cab. Cab is owned by the driver. Driver is the person who is actually providing the service. But you book it using Ola, using Uber. The actual service provider, driver, is below 20 lakhs only, obviously. And I am enjoying the service. Now, Ola fellow, electronic commerce operator, has to collect tax from you on his behalf and pay the tax to the government. Zomato. Okay. So that is this thing. Go up. Provided that where the electronic commerce operator does not have a physical presence in the taxable territory, that means within India, the apps people are running, it is not necessary that they also should be in India. You got the point? It can be run from anywhere in the world. So if you have office in India, fine. I don't have any issue. I will catch him. Ola, they have an office. All others, they have an office. Okay? But if they don't have physical presence, then what they are saying? Any person representing such electronic commerce operator for any purpose in the taxable territory shall be liable to pay tax. Any person who is representing that operator in India, people will come, no sir, we came from Ola, out. Now you are the person representing Ola, now you are liable, I will catch you. Okay? Okay, next one. Provided further that where the electronic commerce operator does not have a physical presence in the taxable territory and also he does not have any representative in the said territory, neither you are there nor you have a representative. Now what you should do? Now that operator shall appoint a person in the taxable territory for the purpose of complying with the law. All these Google, all these people should have nominated a person in India to comply with the law. You can't simply sit outside India earn the income in India and get out of India. No. So these are 5 subsections of section 9. We'll quickly recapitulate. 1. Regular charge, intrastate supplies other than alcoholic liquor for human consumption, forward charge, pay tax. Next, petroleum, high-speed diesel oil, motor spirit, petrol, natural gas, ATF outside the GST. Next, reverse charge mechanism for specified goods or services, whether received by a registered or unregistered. 4. Specified categories of persons, specified categories of goods or services from unregistered person. Next, 5. Services offered through electronic commerce operator. That electronic commerce operator has to pay tax. This is section 9, the bare act that we have read. Tomorrow we will go in depth. What is that notification? Who are the specified categories of goods? What are the specified categories of services? Etc. etc. Okay. Thank you.